Hello, my name is Jimmy. I'm a child passenger safety technician, and this rolling up right beside me here, well, this is the 2023 Genesis GV70 Electrified, which means, yes, the third EV from the manufacturer. You have the G80 Electrified, you have the GV60, and this, the GV70 Electrified. And I believe this is the best Genesis EV yet. So let me tell you exactly why I feel that way, starting with the looks. On the front end here, it's still a GV70, so it looks exactly like, well, a GV70 would. The only real big difference here is the grille itself. Of course, being an EV, it doesn't need a massive grille on the front end, so it is blanked off. But this imprinted grille actually looks pretty good. And it also hides, well, the charger port. Sadly, there's no like powered opening or anything like that. You just push to open, but you do have your AC as well as your DC fast charge right in the front here. The front bumper is also a little bit different compared to the other GV70s. On the side of the GV70, we get these 20-inch wheels. And the best part is, well, they just look like a standard wheel. There's no aero covers or anything like that to distract the look. I love these. And check out the brake caliper behind. White Genesis calipers. I mean, it's an EV, so I mean, with the regen, there shouldn't be that much brake dust, but that is gutsy. The rest of the shape is very similar to the GV70, if not exactly the same. They really haven't changed much here. And you know what? That's not a bad thing at all. One thing I do wish they change is, well, you do get the proximity door locks on the front door, so you can lock and unlock the front, but sadly, they just don't include it in the back. That being said, I do love the lines from front all the way to the back. The Genesis team, they really know how to design cars. And check out this third brake light on top. It's absolutely beautiful. Same thing with these LED taillights. It's a very beautiful vehicle overall. And in my opinion, the electrified version with the, well, changed front and rear bumpers, I think it looks a little bit better. A little bit more luxurious rather than sporty. But it still drives sporty, but I'll get to that in a bit. If we open up the trunk here, we get 29 cubic feet of space. You don't lose space in terms of going with the electrified version, which is absolutely great. And this is a little bit more space than the GV60 as well. So you can put all the things that you need in here if you like. You can fold down the rear seats 60-40 thanks to the handles on the side. What's nice is the tonneau cover can go underneath the rear floor, so you don't have to just leave it at home whenever you aren't using it. You can just leave it right on the bottom here, and there is a little bit more space underneath, but definitely not too much. What's nice is the GV70 on the front, you do have a little bit of space. Definitely not a lot, but it's good for your cables and some other small accessories. But let's head inside. All right, the back seats of the GV70. I'm 5'11", and headroom and legroom both are plentiful. It doesn't feel like, well, a converted electric vehicle, because a lot of those, you lose a lot of leg space in the rear. In here, I don't mind it at all. It's pretty spacious, actually. And with this panoramic sunroof above me, it does make the place, well, it does feel a little bit more roomy than it actually is. I got heated seats on here. I got my climate control as well as USB ports right in the center. Of course, you got your center armrest and cup holders in the middle. And if you want to be a little bit more comfortable, you can tilt the seats back a little bit more, or even a little bit more upright if you want to do that by whatever means. Of course, you got to have your baby shades on the side. Sadly, they're not powered, but well, at least they can keep the sun out of your kiddos' eyes. Speaking of kiddos, I am a child passenger safety technician, as I mentioned before. I'm certified to put these car seats within the car. On the driver's side, this is a collect lane infant seat. There's no problems getting the seat inside the vehicle. There's plenty of space for it. The doors, unfortunately, they don't open a full 90 degrees for easier access, but well, getting the infant carrier was still possible. Wasn't really much of a problem. On the passenger side here, this is a collect FIMF, a rearward facing child seat. Once again, no issues getting that seat in here. Installs perfectly. And as you can see here, once installed, I can still fit in front of the front passenger seat here without much problems. And if your kiddo's a little bit older, this is a Collect Uber, which is a high back booster. As you can see, no problems getting that seat in here, and of course, it does fit as well. In terms of lower anchors, you got a set on the driver's side and a set on the passenger side. They're a little bit difficult to get access to because they're just within the bite of the leather, so they're actually a little bit squished. But once installed, they shouldn't give you much of a problem. And behind the seats, you do have 3 upper anchors. Unfortunately, the GV70 just isn't wide enough for me to put 3 seats across, so 2 kiddos is kind of the max I would do here. And if you do have 2 child seats, I probably wouldn't put someone in the middle unless they're really, 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 really small. But let's move up to the front. As for the front seats, they're really, really comfortable. Here in Canada, you only get 1 trim, no options. So you get everything here. They're heated, they're cooled, they have active bolsters, which just hold you in when you're in sport mode. I love that. And you have ergo motion. No, that's not like a massage seat. It just kind of moves you about. It's great for a longer journey so that, well, it just reduces the fatigue on your body, but it's not like a full-on massage seat or anything like that. But let's be honest, most vehicles' massage seats, they're really not that great anyway, so I can kind of live without it. In front of me, I do get the sportier Genesis steering wheel. I got all the typical buttons you would have, but there's also this one on the bottom, boost. I love this little boost button. It's so like well hidden. Unlike the GV60 where you get this like round knob that isn't a knob, but it's just like this push button on the bottom. This is just, well, nicer. It's a little bit more sophisticated in terms of its looks. And just as sophisticated is this instrument cluster. It kind of looks like old school dials, which I personally love. I mean, it is a full digital screen and it has a 3D effect as well. Up top, you do have a heads-up display and that shows you plenty of information. So you don't really have to look down at the cluster. So that's very useful. And in the center, there's a big old widescreen infotainment unit. I love this screen because it's nice and low. So it doesn't like impact your view out, which is huge. And it has all the things you would need. AM, FM radio, of course, Sirius satellite, you got CarPlay, you got Android Auto. Sadly, you do have to plug it into the USB port with your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. No wireless connectivity as of yet. I mean, whatever. I can plug it in, it can charge my phone. I'm okay with that. You do get a Qi wireless charger down here as well though. So you do have the option of that if you want to just use Bluetooth, for example. The climate control, well, for some it may be a little bit fussy to use, but for me, it's been fine. Because I just press the auto button, I set my temperature, and that's really it. I don't mess around with like fan speeds or anything like that too much. And because of that, I'm not really using the touch interface in the middle. So for me, absolutely fine. And I do like, well, all these media buttons on the bottom as well. They're just quick and easy buttons that you can go into the screen, to your nav, CarPlay, whatever you have. That is actually pretty cool. Overall, I mean, this place is absolutely beautiful. The leather, the stitching, it's such a nice place to be in. This does, well, it elevates kind of what you feel the Genesis product should be. The GV60, it didn't feel like this. This does feel premium. And check out this Alcantara headliner. It's so beautiful. I can just, well, I shouldn't probably touch it all day, but I want to, but I don't want to make it dirty. Before we go for a drive, let's talk about the powertrain because it is quite special. You got equal front and rear motors. Combined, they make 483 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. You get a range of 236 miles or about 380 kilometers thanks to this 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery. You do get the 800-volt multi-charging system, which means 10 to 80%. At a 240 kilowatt charger, you can charge it in less than 20 minutes. But let's be honest, finding one of those chargers is going to be quite difficult. You're most likely going to be charging at home with level 2 if you invested in that, or level 1 like I am because I couldn't be bothered. But let's be honest, you got 483 horsepower here, 500 pound-feet of torque, 516. What this is about is speed. And if you put that pedal down, yeah, it's pretty quick. I mean, it's a tiny bit slower than the GV60 because it's a little bit heavier, but I mean, it's like a little bit slower, just like the tiniest little bit. Who cares? This still is a whole lot of fun. And if you put that boost mode on, I mean, I didn't try this myself, but in the rain, traction control off, maybe going like 40 kilometers per hour, you floor it and it'll just, well, do burnouts for like half a block. There's just so much torque within this drivetrain. It's absolutely mad. Love it. Actually, you know what? I got a clear road ahead of me. Put sport mode, boost. Okay, not so clear. Don't you just hate it when people merge right in front of you? But yeah, you got boost for like 10 seconds or so, and you got all the power there. And what's nice is like, well, the boasters, they just, well, clench you a little bit more just to make you feel like, oh yeah, it's ultimate speed. Let's be honest, your typical GV70 owner won't ever hit that button. It's gonna be on comfort, or it's gonna be on, well, their own specific mode that you can set. And because it does have like the adaptive suspension, well, it's actually pretty comfortable. Around town, no problems at all. And it's really quiet. There's minimal wind noise, road noise is also kept to a minimum. It's just, well, like a luxury product should be. At 84,000 Canadian dollars, it's about $4,000 more than the GV60 when you're comparing the top trim that you can get. And for that $4,000, I think it's absolutely worth it. This, well, it's that kind of in-between product. It feels like a regular car. It drives like a regular car. You even have a start-stop button like a regular car should. You keep, well, the regen at level 1, which I am doing right now, and it drives like a regular car. It's not one pedal driving. You use the brakes as you normally would, but it has regen when you touch it. So it feels like a normal car for a lot of people. And that's the best thing about it. That's what it's built for. Yes, it does have one pedal driving, and you can activate it by pulling the paddles here, and it goes from level 1, 2, 3, and then all the way to iPedal. What I don't like about iPedal is, well, once you have iPedal on, no problem going forward. But once you stop, you put it into reverse, there's no iPedal for reverse. You're back onto level 3 regen. You go back to drive and iPedal is off. So if you forget about it, well, it's going to be a little sketchy for that like first few seconds as you drive. And when you start the vehicle, it also doesn't start in iPedal. It just starts on level 3. So that's the only kind of negative to that. But like I said, I keep it on level 1 driving it this week, and I honestly could not be bothered. This is the best Genesis product. It really is. I would say I love this more than the G90. I mean, I love the G90. I love the way it looks. I love the way it drives, but this, well, this is just more like a mainstream product. It's, I was going to say affordable, let's be honest. 84,000, it's not for everyday people, but hey, when you're comparing luxury SUVs like this, that's actually pretty good, because the EQB is smaller than this and it's basically the same price. The EQE is similar size to this, maybe a little bit bigger, but that's like $100,000. So this, tremendous value. But in any case, let me know what your thoughts are on the GV70 Electrified. Do you prefer this? You want something else? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll catch you later. Take care.